Now up on our stage at our 2020 Media Day is Weaver High School. Weaver competes in 3A Region 5. The region opponents are Glencoe, Hopes Bluff, and Ohatchee, Piedmont, Pleasant Valley, Sachs, and Weldon. Their head coach is Justin Taylor. And Coach Taylor, we will start with your opening comments. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, guys. I appreciate y'all doing this, and I appreciate this the second year, and it was awesome last year and again this year. And we're just glad to get to do this. And just glad that next week we get to get out there and get started. Because for a while, we didn't know what we was going to get to do. Our spring athletes missed out on a lot, and most of the summer we were worried what we were going to get to do and not do. And we've been prepared for this day, so we're glad to be here, and we appreciate y'all.
First question is Mr. Medley.
Yeah, Justin, have you guys had any issues with COVID this off season as far as maybe positive tests, and then just what's your reaction to what the HSAA announced the other day or yesterday, and just the guidance and the practicality of it?
No, I tell people all the time that we've been dodging COVID left and right. We've been fortunate so far this summer. We've had some in our community, and we've had some families that had to be quarantined, but none of our athletes have had it yet, and so we've been fortunate there. But as far as the guidelines that were laid out last week, there's things we got to do. We're going to sit down and think about how we're going to handle some of the things, because a lot of one of the spacing in the locker room they talked about, that was a concern for me, because a lot of facilities in the state aren't that big. So we're going to do things like use our gyms on Friday nights, and the spacing on the field. When they first said we was going to get to go from the 10 to the 10, I'd heard that rumor, and I was really excited because I thought I was going to get to go down to the 10 and call plays. But I was told no, that's not true. So just be our players. But and then one of the underlooked thing was you get to come on the field. For years the referees tell us, Coach, let them get to the numbers. Coach, let them get to the numbers. Now, due to spacing, they're going to let us come out there with multiple coaches to talk to the guys during breaks and things like that. So some of those things I actually think are good, actually better for the sport, and I think we may see at the end when this is all over that we may keep a few of these items, personally, if you ask me. So we're just excited, and making sure that we keep our kids safe and healthy and ready to go.
So Justin and both players, what was last year like to go through, and what did that do to kind of juice your all's off season, the motivation? What's the hope for this year?
Well, that's when I sat down a couple weeks ago, I was sitting there thinking how I would respond to that question, because you're going to get it when you go through a season like that. That's I've never been through anything like that in my life, but one of the perspectives I came out of is really reading scripture and things that talks about you don't really lose. You either learn or you win. And, we learned a lot last year, and so everything, instead of getting caught up in the emotion of a game or a loss or how the season was going, we sat down, and us coaches would talk each Friday night, and we would find the positives, find things we need to do different, and then spend the all season researching different things that we would want to do and how we would do things and how to not take things for granted. And so that was really a big mindset this off season after this year was, what did we learn? How can we do better? And things like that. Because every opportunity, every setback's a growth opportunity, and you can't take those for granted.
Coach Taylor, take a moment and introduce the two gentlemen you brought, and tell us what you're expecting out of them this year.
All right. We got Taylor Thompson here. He was a returning quarterback. Expect a lot of things out of him. He leads our offense. He did a pretty good job last year, and I expect even better this year. We're going to do a little bit better job of tailoring things to him. And then Bailey Stevens would have been a big cog for us last year. He actually got hurt in the spring game. He was one of the injuries we talked about last year, and I believe if he had played, we would have been a little bit better in a couple games last year. So just having him back is going to be huge, and having these two guys who they are two of the guys who actually had played a little bit when I got here last year. So I was really excited about them last year, and even more this year having them back. And then I was telling them out there a while ago in July, we kind of flipped our workout model where we brought the skill in the morning, and then 30 minutes later brought the linemen in. And we had been just doing all boys workouts, and we started doing more football stuff in July. and having Taylor in one group and Bailey in the other was huge for us. Just having that leadership out there and guiding our guys. So, you know, I expect big things, leadership, and keeping our guys focused on our core values and what we're supposed to do this year.
Question?
Taylor, having seen what happened in the spring, has that changed your outlook in your senior season?
Yes, sir. Makes you wanna work harder so you don't go through that your senior season.
Baylor?
Like he said, you know, it's their senior season. Nobody wants to have a season like they had last year. It's just, personally for me, it was just getting back healthy and getting ready for this season so I could try to make it my best season.
Piggybacking off of that, for Taylor and for Bailey, what's this offseason been like from a player's perspective? We've seen kind of in the news and covering you guys, you know, working out in separate groups and doing everything separately to abide by all the guidelines. But what's it been like from a player's perspective this offseason as you try to, as you said, look for a better senior season? We'll start with Taylor and Bailey.
It's really been the same as last offseason. It's just we're going in separate groups and we gotta wipe everything down. And other than that, it's really been the same. We've been working harder in the weight room and on the field. So I mean, it's really been about the same.
I think with all the COVID stuff, it hasn't really slowed us down, and we're still progressing as a team, even through all this stuff that we have to do, like wiping down all the weights and stuff.
To Taylor and Bailey, just last year, obviously you were adjusting to a new coach. There was a lot of player turnover. How much different is it from last year to this year? You know, I guess last year you all were starting at home plate. Is there a sense now that maybe you're kind of on first base or second base in terms of getting to where the program needs to be?
Last year, I saw that they put a lot of young guys in last season, so I think that would give the team maybe a boost for the young guys so they can get that experience on the field.
Last year we didn't really know Coach Taylor, and Coach Taylor really didn't know us, so it kind of put us back some. And then so now the team, we know Coach Taylor and Coach Taylor knows us, so we know what we can do and Coach Taylor knows what we can do, and so I feel like it'll be a better season this year.
Question?
Yeah, Coach, one of the things nobody's talked about so far today is something that I'm sure every program that comes before us is gonna face, and that's the loss of revenue, either in ticket sales potentially, or it's gotta be awfully hard to go out there and do fundraisers. I know you guys had some things scheduled that you had to change. Can you talk about what that aspect of this is like?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had after the season, we sat down and looked at our deficiencies and some things that we had to replace, in some areas that we had to get our income up in, and we had a lot of plans for the spring that we were going to do before the spring game, during the spring game, to start the summer. And when the COVID hit, it backed us up, and so we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we were going to recover. And so we one of the things we did, we decided to do a 5K, but since we couldn't ask people to gather in masses, we couldn't make kids go out and do that thing, we did a virtual 5K. We did a virtual 5K, and people signed up online, and they would email their race receipts, or they could just buy a t-shirt. That did pretty decent for us under the circumstances, and I think it'll be even better next year. We gave the kids discount cards to sell. That was something we did this summer for them to sell. Instead of, we gave them the option to do that. So it's been really tough. We had a few others we were hoping to do, some events we wanted to do, you know, football camps, you know, 7-on-7 type things, maybe a youth 7-on-7 night, things that we didn't get to do with all the regulations. So it's been very difficult with that. And like you said, this year you're probably gonna have reduced people at the games. And that's a big deal, because high school programs rely so much on ticket sales, rely on people coming to the game. And that's a big deal. People don't realize that, you know. That's one good thing about Weaver, though, I'll say, is, you know, the last game we played last year, we played on a Thursday night. It was senior night, and Thursday night, bad weather, and really all you would expect would be the kids play and parents there and the seniors there, and we had almost as big crowd as we had the first game, the home game. And so that was real good for us last year to realize that despite the season we had support all year. Ticket sales stayed about the same, and so that was a big deal. And I hope to continue that. I hope the fans feel safe and wear their masks and come out and every game. We only got 4 home games this year, the way the schedule worked out. So I hope we can pack the stadium and get that revenue up so that we can support our guys for the future, because we've got some things that we need to do for them to bring them on a level playing field with the rest of the county, and we need that support. So,
Coach, question here. Obviously, the region you're in is a no rest for the weary type region. Tell us a little bit about your non-region games this year.
okay, we're gonna start week 0. We're gonna go up to Douglas, play the Douglas Eagles up there. They've got a new coach, so a lot of unknown there. They hired Brandon Lyles, who was the DC at Albertville, I do believe. So a lot of unknown. Week 0, short week of practice. It's going to be interesting. I played there in high school. It's a good little trip up there, so we're excited about that. Then we take a week off. We're off week 1. And then week 5 we were very fortunate when Georgia shifted their schedule 2 weeks. We thought we'd lost that game. But our Murchie, Georgia actually had an off week September 11th, and then when the schedule shifted 2 weeks, it ended up being their off week September 25th, which is the same day we were playing anyway. And so we're still getting to make that trip as of now. We'll go to play our Murchie, Georgia. They got a great coach. Green does a good job over there. We had played them when I was in basketball when I was at Cherokee County, so I know a little bit about them. I've been to the school. But we're excited about that trip over to Georgia. And then at week 10, we're going to play the Asheville Bulldogs. I'm very familiar with them. We played them when I was at Cherokee County, and then Coach Monroe, who's the new head coach there, is a good friend of mine. We actually worked out a little bit during the quarantine together, so I know Coach Monroe well. I text him all the time and tell him hopes he goes 9-1 this year. So we're really excited about our non-region. Some good opponents, a good variety of offenses and defense to help us prepare for the season.
Any other questions?
Justin, obviously you lose Isaiah and Devontae, but who kind of moves to the fore in those ball carrying roles around Taylor this year?
We'll have in the backfield. We'll have Peyton Martin and Jaden Sturkey and Jackson Williams will all rotate in at those running back spots. On the outside, we'll have our Marnie Burton, who's coming back, who can play. He's looking real good this all season. We've added a couple guys that didn't play last year. We got 2 more sophomores that'll probably play, Jeffrey Miles and Zach Garner. We got Brendan Knight coming back, who does a good job at receiver and DB as one of our returner starters. So we'll fill those roles and just try to get them the ball in space in different areas. And then, of course, offensive line, we lost Dalton Arnett, but we got Bailey coming back to kind of fill that role, and Brent Parks and some of those other guys coming back. We played so many people last year that it actually going to benefit it this year. It was fun when we would meet coaches, and before the game, us coaches do small talk, and they'd say, "Coach, man, we're young," and I'd laugh at them because, we started. We had a 7th grader last year who played 62 snaps versus Piedmont, and after the game, I look on my phone on Facebook, and his mom is wishing him happy birthday for the next day for him turning 13. So he played 62 snaps versus the state champion at 12. And so those are the kind of kids. We played a bunch of 7th, 8th, and 9th graders along with our seniors. So that really, I'm really excited about it. Like they were talking about earlier, we've got experience, and that's something going forward we're going to make a point to do, is get as many people in the game as possible so that they're not shell-shocked when they finally have to be counted on. Even if it's just 6 snaps a game, 7 snaps a game, that's something we're really going to try to do.
Question, Coach?
Yeah, Justin, last year during one of your visits to our coaches show on Tuesday nights, you almost cried talking about trying to find a way to get a win with these kids. Can you talk about the emotions that you personally put into this and what it's like to try to turn this corner?
Thanks, appreciate that. No, it's, we, not just me, but our, my family, our coaches' family, these players' families, we pour our heart into this. This isn't just something we do to check a box to get a check. And so, and that's something I talk about, is, you know, it's not always about winning and losing, it's about competing. You wanna compete in everything you do, because there's so many variables that you can't account for that has to do with winning and losing, but you can compete, you can control that. And so, I felt like we were competing, and something that I've always realized is that winning, what winning does give you is a platform. You know, that's one reason why, you know, like Tim Tebow, when they was winning at Florida, that's one reason why his message got out there. Because there were probably other Christian quarterbacks in the SEC, but their message wasn't getting out there because they weren't winning. And so that was another reason why I wanted to get a win, is so that the things we were talking about and the things we were trying to do and the things we were promoting, our kids saw some relevance in it, and that gave us some stake. So, trying to make me cry again.
One final question for the two players, Taylor and Bailey. Tell us what it means to strap that helmet on with a W on it, knowing that for the last 10 years as you were in school, all the times that Weaver made it deep into the playoffs and all, what type of tradition now is on your shoulders?
Well, just for us to be able to put the helmet on this year it's real good, because, you know, for the longest we didn't know if we was gonna be able to play because of COVID, but hopefully we can make a run in the playoffs this year like we have in the past.
I agree. I think we have, I think we can get a solid team this year and progress like we've been doing in the summer, and hopefully get to the playoffs.
Okay, Coach Taylor, your final comments.
Well, again, just appreciate y'all for doing this, and just, you know, the thing I'll say is don't take any moment for granted. That was something, when we got shut down, I got to spend more time with my kids and my family than I have in a long time. And so, but I also was away from these guys for longer than I had, and we were trying to build something. So those relationships, whether it's your family, whether it's your teammates, whether it's your coaching staff, don't take those for granted. And, you know, I'm hoping we can get out of this situation and we can keep going and we can get to play a full season, and our spring sports get to play and our winter sports get to play, because more than anything, our kids deserve that. Win or lose, they deserve to be around their teammates, their coaches, and get to experience the things that we all got to experience, their senior years or junior years, those things. So, you know, just don't take it for granted and enjoy every moment and use every growth opportunity you can. Nothing's a setback. Everything's a win or a learning opportunity.
Very good. Good luck this season. The Weaver Bearcats.